right, we're live, everybody. Welcome in. Today we're going to be talking all about the Kusama Derby by Zeitgeist. I myself and Chris Hutchinson. I'm the Chief Community and Marketing Officer at Zeitgeist, and I'll let everybody else go around the room, introduce themselves.
Let's start off with the CEO, Logan.
Hey guys, I'm Logan, the CEO of Zeitgeist.
Hi everyone, I'm David Perry, Chief Information Officer at Zeitgeist.
And I am James Preston. I'm Communications Marketing Manager. So I'm going to be moderating the AMA today. So thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. It's really great to have you all with us. We're just going to start off by just running through a couple of things with Hutch. So Hutch and I work closely together in terms of the marketing and getting the message out around Zeitgeist and the vision. Hutch, it's been a crazy week since launching the testnet and the associated Kusama Derby, man.
Yeah, it has. It's been quite exciting, quite hectic, but yeah, definitely crazy. We've seen a lot of really, really insightful stats already from the first week out.
Yeah, I mean, take us through some of the most exciting stats for you. I mean, there's just so much happening. I mean, my most exciting stat is we have almost doubled our Twitter following in 2 weeks. It's, in fact, not even 2 weeks, in a week. It's just remarkable to see the community's adoption. Which for you have been the most exciting stats?
Yeah, I think that's definitely an exciting stat, is seeing the Twitter following grow a bunch. There's also been over 4,000 people that have signed up through the Gleam campaign already, and we're kind of the first week out. And there's been over 46,000 actions that people have taken through the Gleam campaign. But there's also like some other interesting stats would be our node count. So people are actually running nodes on the Zeitgeist network, and you can see on telemetry, which is where you can kind of see across all substrate-based chains how many nodes people are running on the network. I think we've broken upwards towards almost 400 now. I think we're sitting at about 380, which is definitely in the top 10 of all the public blockchain substrate chains that are running on the network. So that's another exciting stat. I would also say, like, our Twitter this month, we've had over 2 million impressions already, from mostly because of the campaign, but also just some other content that we're putting out. So it's all been really exciting.
Yeah, it's been incredible to see. Before I get into a little bit about the actual Kusama Derby, any insights from yourselves, Logan or David, that you've been most excited about in these initial stages of the Derby?
Yeah, so like all the stuff that Hutch just talked about has been amazing. I think overall we've been seeing such good reception from all parts of the community in the Derby. The node operators have been going strong. We're now, I think, the 6th highest by node count in telemetry. So this is awesome. Another thing we'll be looking for is participation in the testnet, which I'll be talking about a little bit later in detail.
And just echoing those things and adding that we're really delighted to see the response, and also from people that want to run prediction markets and use them in their own way for their own uses and applications. So great to see that, and looking forward to seeing more.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just been incredible.
I thought I'd add a last bit about some of the memes that people have been posting have been pretty funny. I mean, not all of them, but some of them have been pretty good.
Yeah, you could tell that you could tell that some people were just clicking through as fast as they could just to try and enter and get some points on the Gleam campaign, and you could tell some people that were really into it. All right, so guys, we are going to take your questions, but first we just want to go through a couple of technicals and go through a couple of sort of demos as well that Logan's going to take us through. Just for those of you that may have just tuned in, you've seen us on Twitter and you've signed up for our crowdcast here. Just a quick overview on what the Kusama Derby is. So basically, it's a prediction market which has been built on Zeitgeist testnet to predict which of the various Kusama projects or substrate-based projects are going to win the various Kusama Parachain auction slots, right? So Kusama is basically opening up their Parachain slot auctions, which are operated via a candle auction, which means it's not like highest bidder and you can see who the other bidders are. It's basically you don't know when that auction ends. So those projects are incentivized to bid as high as possible right from the word go, right? So now it's up to the community taking part in this prediction market, this Kusama Derby, to try and figure out which of those projects is most incentivized to actually make the highest bid, who maybe has the biggest support, who's going to win the various slots. So there's 3 slots up for grabs in the first Parachain auctions. And this derby really is just a very cool way for you, the community, to predict which slots are going to be won by which project. So it's been really exciting to see. You need to enter via Gleam, all right? And if you don't know where to go or what to click on, very simple. Go to our Twitter, right? You just head on over to Zeitgeist PM on Twitter. It's really simple. Zeitgeist PM on Twitter. Our pinned tweet shows you our big announcement tweet, which was when the testnet went live. And all you need to do is click on that blog post, which is on that pinned tweet. It'll take you through what the Derby is all about, how it works, the technicalities, and then look for the link to Gleam. If you get a little bit lost and you're one of those sort of scanning type of people, you don't read the whole thing, then you want to just hit Apple F or Control F, hit find, look for Gleam. It'll take you to the Gleam link, and there you'll enter via either your Twitter or an email address. You will need a substrate address, okay? So I made a little tutorial about how to make a substrate-based address, okay? So you're going to need a substrate address to enter, and then once you've entered those in there, you'll then be able to work your way through the various steps in order to clock up points and entries. And once you unlock the first 4 entries, which are really basic, I'll take you through them. So the first 4 steps are basically just entering your substrate address, right? So once you register, that's your first one. Then join our Telegram group. Then thirdly, visit the Zeitgeist Derby page to get involved. And then fourthly, you join the testnet. Once you've done those 4 things, you'll unlock 48 more entries, which will increase your chances of how much you win. So there's actual real ZTG tokens which are up for grabs later on, okay? So right now we're operating on the testnet, and so we're operating with testnet tokens. Battery Park is the name of our testnet. So that's called ZBP. But later on, when we eventually go live on our mainnet coming up much later on in the year, you will be eligible to win a whole bunch of ZTG tokens if you do well in this Kusama Derby. So that's basically how it works. That's a little introduction to what this is all about. Logan, our CEO, is going to give you a full rundown on the technicalities. And Hutch, have I missed anything?
No, I think that's a really good overview. I'll just say, just a reminder to everybody tuning in today that if you do have a question while we're going through all of this, there's an ask a question box, and you can put your question in there. Other people can upvote your question. At the end of this event today, we'll be answering all those questions.
Awesome. Yeah, and thanks to Harold, one of our team, who's putting a whole bunch of links in there. Appreciate that, Harold. Thank you. And Logan, I'm going to hand straight over to you and ask you to run through a couple of the technicalities, demo the product, how to participate in the market, and it's over to you, man.
Cool. Thanks a lot, James. Cool. So yeah, I want to take this time to kind of walk through the just the technical foundations of the Derby. So with the Derby, what we did was try to create an event that's fun for people to participate in. But at the same time, I don't want the kind of fun package to like gloss over the technical achievement that the team has been making. So I'll just kind of walk through the Derby and explain a bit about what's happening in the chain. So I'll share my screen. It looks like there's too many video sources to share the screen. So maybe someone will have to drop off. Cool. Yeah, so the first thing I'll kind of walk through is just the Derby page and how to use it. So right away, you can see when you visit the Derby page that there is a number in the top corner here. This number will go up every 6 seconds, and that's because this is the current block. So right now we're at block 111,258. Every 6 seconds, that'll increase. On this side, you'll see your account with the ZBP balance, the testnet token balance. So right now we're using the Polkadot.js extension. It's the equivalent of MetaMask in the Substrate Polkadot ecosystem. You can see here, if you have multiple accounts in the extension, you can switch between them. So yeah, the Derby page. So we've been working hard as a team to deliver on the kind of first major public testnet of Zeitgeist Battery Park. And we've been thinking a lot about how we want to celebrate the upcoming Parachain auctions on Kusama. So because we won't be participating in the Parachain auctions right now, since we plan to open up our PLO toward the end of the year, we decided the Kusama Parachain Derby was a fun way to engage the community while showing off our tech. So essentially what you have is we've created 3 markets. So Zeitgeist is, of course, a prediction market protocol. And we've created 3 markets, one for each of the first slots being auctioned off on Kusama. So each of these slots ask the question, which project will win for the first, second, or third slot. And what we have here is a visual representation of the prices of the each of the outcome tokens. So in prediction markets, how the prediction is aggregated, how it's gained, is through trading the outcome token. So one thing I want to kind of tell everyone who's joining us on this crowdcast is a bit about how the interaction so far has been, and how you can kind of get a bit of an edge in participating in this market. So one of the core concepts of a prediction market is that the outcome ranges from 0% to 100%. And this is based on the price of the outcome token at any particular time. So how this works is that the winner of the market will get 1 ZBP after the market resolves. So let's take Moon River as an example here. We see that the current price of Moon River is 0.118 ZBP. So if we put 0.1834 here, we would get approximately 1 Moon River outcome token. So how this translates to, and how we've shown on the tracks here, is that it's roughly, the prediction is roughly 18% that Moon River will win the first lot. Now we can look over here at Karura, which is at 100%. And if we open up the box, we actually see that the price is over 1. So I just mentioned a little bit earlier that when the market resolves, you'll be able, if Karura wins, the Karura outcome token will be redeemable for 1 ZBP. So essentially right now what you have is a Karura outcome token being traded for a price higher than 1 ZBP. So what this essentially means is that there is a arbitrage opportunity for Karura at the moment. Since the current prediction says Karura's chance of winning the slot is over 100%. And this, if you think about it reasonably, this doesn't make much sense how something could be over 100%. What this means is that if you sell Karura now, so I have 0.8, right? So I can sell Karura for a price and essentially get back more ZBP. So just to kind of drive this point home, and one thing I kind of want to encourage during this demo is for people to kind of look at what's happening on the Derby, not only in kind of this linear fashion where we see obviously Karura is the crowd favorite at the moment, but also look into the mechanics behind how the prediction market works and how they can possibly get more ZBP and therefore more ZTG when we do the rewards at the end by actually engaging the system in different ways. So how someone would do this with Karura is by going to the apps interface. Currently, this is the only way to access this function that I'll show you right now. But this function that I'll show you is essentially how the outcome tokens are created. So if we go to the prediction markets palette and we go to the function called buy complete set, what this function does is it creates one of each of these outcome tokens, and it trades 1 ZBP to do it. So essentially, I could say that this is market ID 14. I could say that I want to trade 1 ZBP or one of each of the outcome tokens. And then once this goes through here, so you can see it succeeds, come back to Karura, do a quick refresh. And trade this 1 Karura outcome token for 1.25 ZBP. So what I'm trying to say here is that I just spent 1 ZBP to get back 1.25 ZBP. And this essentially makes sense to do until the price of Karura is equal to 1. If you think it's 100% chance to win the slot. So yeah, I encourage people to kind of look into the internals a bit more to kind of understand how the market's working and to see how they can break it, see how they can kind of gain an advantage through the whole campaign. So up next, we're going to have Harald from the team show us. Yeah, sorry, I'm toggling around here, but essentially we're gonna have Harald from the team show us how to set up a node.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, right in the early days, the interface was showing that Karura was way off the chart, and that's because so many people had predicted it to win that obviously the interface had associated that overprice being over 100%, being way off the chart like that. So well done to the team for realigning everything, that once it's hit 100% in terms of UI, it can't go any further over.
Hello.
Hello, Harold. Welcome, man. So Harold, why don't you just introduce yourself, tell us what you do at Zeitgeist, and then take us through running a node.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Harald Heckmann, and I'm part of the technical team that develops the Zeitgeist chain. Yes, and I'd like to show you now how you can run a node and why this is a thing, and how you can also benefit from it. Okay, so I'll share my screen. I think somebody has to leave for that. Okay, now it works. All right, so a lot of stuff going on here. So here we have a little presentation. I just want to go through fast. It's a short presentation, nothing to be scared of. So we have some fundamentals before we run a node. So why should you run a node? So basically running a node strengthens the network. It makes it more decentralized, and it makes it also more prone to errors. So if one node fails, there are still plenty of other nodes who can carry the workload. Then it gives you independence from trusting other nodes. So what you do currently is usually when you interact with the front end, you are talking with our node. So you're basically trusting us or our node that we deliver you the correct data. For any case where the data is not signed, we could deliver you anything. And if you run your own node, you can get the data from your node and you don't have to trust anybody because your own node will verify everything that happens on the network by itself. Assuming your computer is not infected, it will also deliver you the right data. And then there's maybe good news for folks like me who are absolutely poor at trading, but have some technical understanding. You can get rewarded with Zeitgeist tokens, the real Zeitgeist tokens for the mainnet later, by supporting the network with your own Collider node. And there's a form in the we have posted, so you can apply for this. Maybe somebody can link it in the chat. Oh yes, and we'll soon go through the steps how you can set up a node to strengthen the network and maybe to get a little bit CTG for it. So there are two options for running a node, and one option is building it from source, and the other option is running it with Docker. I'll explain some advantages and disadvantages for both variants, and then we'll go into getting our hands dirty. So the advantages for building from source is that you get the highest performance. Basically, you create the Zeitgeist node that perfectly matches for your system and is directly executed on your hardware. And you also get a small binary size, the thing you run that executes the node. But there are a couple of disadvantages, and this is poor portability, because the node you just compiled by building it from source matches so good to your hardware, it is not portable to other hardware that easily. For example, easy example would be if you build it on Linux, you can't use it on Windows. Then there's a relatively high effort. You have to set up a lot of stuff and before you start building it, and then still there could be some errors that you have to tackle. And then there are relatively high compilation update times. So you have to wait until your final node is ready to be started. And then only once. When you compile it, then it's there and you can start it every time immediately. And then it's not well supported on native Windows. Compiling is not well supported on native Windows. We have an alternative for this. This is a Docker container, and Docker is a virtualization environment where we put our Zeitgeist node in, and you basically just run a container that can run on any on any system that Docker itself runs on. And those are many systems. So it's fast and easy to set up. It's basically 2 commands and your node is running, as we will see soon. And then there's a high portability. As I said, you can take it to any system Docker runs on, and those are a lot of systems. And it's fast and easy to update. So basically 1 command and you're done. There are also some disadvantages. Since there's 1 layer between your node and your system, it's a little bit slower. And then there's also a greater size because you have the additional Docker overhead. And obviously you have to install additional software, named Docker, to run it. So now that we went through the options and advantages and disadvantages, I'd like to show you how you can use our documentation to run your node, to set up your node and run it, and then to eventually participate in the collector program. Maybe somebody can post this link as well in the chat. So let's start off with the building from source variant. Oh, I'm F5 already not running. Okay, so basically what you do first is you get our source code, and then you change into that directory you downloaded, and then you make sure that you have the correct version. Next, you initialize the whole environment. And then you can already start building. What I have to mention before is that you have to install Raster. The link is included here. Now, I have already compiled it, so it only takes 0.4 seconds, but it can take quite a lot of time, especially on older systems. On newer systems, it should take about 5 to 10 minutes. Then after the process completed, you can execute this command, and that's it. You are now running your own node on your system that was built from the source code. So it's the highest performant option available. There is one issue though, and now you should listen closely. If you want to run a collector node, you have to ensure that your node ID, which you can see here, is permanent. When you build from source, it will be permanent, but to be safe, in case something happens, for example, your file system crashes, you should also copy your secret file and put it to a safe place, so you will have access to your rewards, or in other words, you can continue to gain rewards after you lost your file somehow. So the file is stored in this folder. I won't go into details here. Everything is explained in the documentary, in the documentary here. Just wanted to mention it so you know to take care of this. And another thing is, as you see, it will run in my home folder. So you might want to change the folder where it runs, and you can do it by specifying this parameter. As I said before, everything is explained very step by step in fine granularity, so there shouldn't be much that can go wrong. If it does, you can still ask us in the Discord channel. So there's one more thing you have to regard. When you run a collector node and you want to have rewards from it, oh, that's my bad, it's the wrong window. You have to ensure that your node has a high uptime, because the rewards will depend on, you will gain more rewards if your node has a higher uptime, basically in short. So on Linux, you can create a systemd service. So everything is explained here as well, how you do it and all of that. And I just want to show you, you run it once after you've set it up. and then you're done. So basically, if you execute these steps, you